Folks, I just want to make one more comment. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office, North Georgia's only live online morning show. If you would like to comment, get in touch with me. The number is 706-889-9700, 706-889-9700. Or also you can email me, chief@fetchernews.com. Or you can follow us on Twitter @FetcherNews, @FYNTV, and also our sports department @Team FYN Sports. Now, one thing I want to bring up before we go any further is I've told you this, and let me clarify it. When you look it up, this is from an article. Kemp's program. Now listen, Kemp's program later passed federal muster in 2010. After he modified the program with a few new safeguards, though it is not apparent the Secretary of State ever followed the safeguards. Now, this is this media outlet trying to paint a picture, but remember, the nicest way they could put it is Kemp's program later passed federal muster in 2010. All right. Meaning there is federal precedence for this, okay? According to the lawsuit against Kemp's current exact match program, civil rights organizers sued Kemp in 2016 over this program as they discovered that his administration rejected 35,000 voter registrations between 2013 and 15, 76.3 of which for black, okay? Now, remember, Kemp's program later passed federal muster. No, when they sued him, okay, when they sued him, he had to take this program through the state, not just Secretary of State's office. So after they sued him and he had to back down off the program, the state of Georgia then wrote a law complementing the federal muster, they call it, which allowed Kemp to do this. You're not hearing it's against the law. Trust me, you're not hearing that, okay? And if your name is Thomas and it's not Tom, don't put Tom on there, okay? And that's just the bottom line. So I want to get away from that just for a minute. Stacey Abrams is out on a bus tour across Georgia. Abrams says she never endorsed illegal immigration voting. Not true. Okay, so just keep that in mind. All right. All right. Let's go to something else here now. Khashoggi. This is why I despise the media. Okay. Now, I want to ask this question because I have not had time to do the research. But remember, everything we do when it comes to MSNBC, CNN, ABC, all of the networks, everything we do, we have always put this high emphasis on how do our allies feel? Why we're out of step with our allies. Our allies see this. Our allies have released a statement. Our allies say we're wrong. How do we look in the world? Our allies, our allies, our allies. Now, if I'm not mistaken, if MSNBC, CBS, ABC had these major outcry from our allies, they would be playing them. So just in passing, I'm saying in passing, I'm not seeing on the website. See, I go to a lot of websites. I'm not seeing, Prime Minister of Great Britain comes out and says this is horrific, and which it is horrific, and we'll not stand for it, and we're going to stop all oil imports from Saudi Arabia or whatever. Okay, all of the above, over and over and over. Where do you see it? Do you see the outrage? I don't know. I'm not saying there's not, but there seems to be manufactured outrage. And this is hard to talk about because there is somebody, I allegedly, and I presume maybe somebody's dead. Khashoggi is dead, okay? He went in, We're hearing bone saw. I'm not joking. We're hearing fresh paint. Hey, I'll tell you what. We all learned off forensic files. Go in there, throw the luminol. See what's happening there, all right? And, you know, I'll tell you how to solve this as you do one of those episodes of forensic files. But supposedly, in the Saudi Arabian consulate in Istanbul, Turkey, MBS, is that his to keep from pronouncing his name or his, let me see here, let me get this up. I want to get my page up I'm working on anyway. Is it MBS, right? He's a bad guy. They supposedly work for him, the prince. And he goes in and there's tranquilizer. That we have this stuff we're hearing. There's tranquilizers. We're hearing the guy was still alive when they were cutting him up. I'm serious. We're hearing all this stuff. Okay. And the fact that we have to remember is you know, he is a Saudi Arabian citizen. Stay there. An American permanent resident, a columnist or whatever for the Washington Post. Now, as a reporter, if you think this is some of my comments, you're not gonna like. But if you think the reporters in this country, the domestic beer in this country, the reporters in this country really care about this guy, okay, their colleague in the field, you're wrong, okay? If their passion on all of their lead stories on all of these networks, because Khashoggi is top story no matter what you look at, no matter what network, this Khashoggi is top story. Let me have, let's put up, let's just go with number 17. Okay. Now, that's 5 a.m., right? Is that 5 a.m. in the morning? All right. Pompeo meets with Turkey's President Erdogan, okay? And he flies to Saudi Arabia. He's flying to Turkey, okay? He's going to give a full report to the President of the United States. He's going to give a full report to all national security advisors, the mustache, everything like that. But no, Trump saying, look, I've talked to the king. I called the king. He said he didn't do it. All right? What do you want me to do? He said he didn't do it. I said Pompeo. Now, if you think for 1 minute that the domestic media here in the United States of America are concerned in their hearts and they're really passionate about getting to the bottom of who killed Khashoggi, you're wrong. No. They have no problem with $7 a gallon gas. If they can cause a Saudi Arabian, okay, retaliation, okay, you got to remember they run in every day and use the "we got Trump now," okay? Sorry about that. My earpiece is extra irritating this morning, besides me being irritating. They run in every morning and they say, we got him now. That is what they live for, the we got him now. Today is the day. We've got the story now. Today is it. Okay? You see, it's Trump's fault that we've incited, not the media themselves. It's Trump's fault, according to them, that media, that journalists all around the world are in danger. If you're a journalist anywhere in the world today, you're in danger because of Donald Trump and his attack on the media. No, he didn't attack the media. How come you don't take, as far as journalists and media, responsibility for yourself of years and decades of manipulating, lying, and treating the American people like a mushroom? Why? How come you have no responsibility in this whatsoever that people all over the world are upset with journalists and media today? No responsibility. But you see, everywhere today in the world, if you're a journalist, it's Trump's fault that you are in danger, that you may lose your life. Now, they continue to run the stories, and we'll get to this in a minute. They continue to run the stories, and I'm not okay with a journalist getting killed, period. Just not. And this is a scary thought. But all day they're running the stories on, so back in 1991 or somewhere around there, Trump put his yacht on eBay. And the Saudis were the high bidder and bought it. They will tell you it's illegal, okay? And they will not tell you how many billionaires or whatever that year sold anything to a foreign government or sold anything to somebody that's in another country. They won't do that because it's not illegal. Trump's a businessman, had some debts he wanted to pay, and the Saudis said, hey, we'll give you 20 million for the yacht. He said, okay, I'll take it because I need to pay something off. I don't know. All right? They don't look at the other countries. Okay? The other countries that spend billions of dollars with businessmen in this country, okay? Now you go and look at any high-rise in downtown Manhattan, and you look at how many foreign countries or business people in other countries that have bought entire floors or bought several apartments on one floor. Now, Trump Tower in New York is an exclusive address. And it's not uncommon for someone like Saudi Arabia to buy a floor. I think that was in 1991. But no, that's all they can talk about is that Saudi Arabia spent money. I just wish, I'm not denying Saudi Arabia spent money, okay? Saudi Arabia spent money on Trump Tower buying a floor. I'm not arguing that Saudi Arabia bought, his yacht. And I'm not arguing, and some people is just mad that they didn't think of it first, that the guy's a businessman and he built a hotel and Saudi Arabian lobbyists booked rooms. I'm not arguing that any of that happened. I just wish the media would take the same effort and look at everyone else that Saudi Arabia does business with. Now, what they won't tell you is that none of this is illegal. None of it's been an illegal transaction. And none of these things are tied that Trump loves Saudi Arabia so much that he's going to say, okay, we'll turn our back to you killing one of your citizens, just letting it go. It's not there, folks. It's just not there. But if they could keep this on the network, okay, every day, and if they can release something that says that Saudi Arabia actually killed Khashoggi, or whatever his name is, Khashoggi, this journalist, and if we retaliate with sanctions and we end, it's okay for the media if, thousands lose their job because of a military contract that the Saudis cancel, or we cancel with the Saudis, and they go somewhere else. Now, I'm not saying we should do that, but none of these things are thought out. The media does not care about anybody. They care about helping carry the water for Democrats. None of this is thought out. None of this is thought out. They will stand on a stage, okay, Beto O'Rourke will stand on a stage in Texas and talk about how tariffs are a disaster for that state. I mean, it's an absolute disaster. They read no of the economic news, but they'll stand and tell you that these tariffs are an absolute disaster. So they're willing to give anything away, do anything they have to end the tariffs, regardless of who it hurts in their state or manufacturing or how many jobs they lose. They don't care. They'll stand on a stage, this Cinnamon or Synonym or whatever a damn name is out there in Arizona, will stand on a stage and say tariffs are devastating. I watch state after state where they keep the Democrats saying tariffs are the number one thing devastating. They got nothing. You listen to one state debate. I'm asking you, you take the time and you listen to one state debate. I watched the Ted Cruz, Beto O'Rourke debate last night. They've all said the same talking points. Now, I will tell you this. If you watch a Republican debate in this state, in different states, Republicans stand on their own, make their own comments. The general theme may be there as taxes or something like that, but they make their own. Democrats, they have the points and they talk exactly the way they're told to, no matter if you're in Arizona, Florida, New York, no matter where, Texas. But all they talk about is how these tariffs are devastating to their state. But they have no care whatsoever that until we know all the facts with Saudi Arabia, this could be, one, $7 a gallon gas. It could happen, okay? It could be major military contracts canceled, okay? So all I'm seeing, I'm not taking up for Donald J. Trump here, the president. I want to be clear. And all things point to, okay? But we have a separation of powers. In our Congress, we have Lindsey Graham, and I agree with him. We have Lindsey Graham in our Congress that said, hey, we will not put up with this. There'll be a price to pay. If Saudi Arabia killed this guy, there's going to be a price to pay. So Donald Trump does what he's supposed to do. He tells Mike Pompeo, get on the plane, get over there. You go over to Saudi Arabia, sit down with him, you see what happened. Then you go to Turkey and you meet with Erdogan and you see what happened. And then you get me a full report. Well, the media's gone nuts because Donald Trump will not come up and confirm 100% what is alleged to have taken place in this Saudi Arabian consulate. He's going to wait. Now, it might be in while we're on the show. I mean, he may have made a comment, Pompeo, but Pompeo's getting all the information. Now, the media is calling Pompeo the cleanup man. He's going to Saudi Arabia. This is what you're hearing out of the media, which this is why I despise them. They're telling you he's going to Saudi Arabia to do what? To figure out how to clean this up and help them clean this up. Then he goes to Turkey and he says, look, Saudi Arabia, we're going to help them clean this up. And then they're going to devise a statement. All right? It's ridiculous. I, for one, find it very interesting that everybody knows so much in this, all right? But don't get confused for 1 minute that they care about this reporter. Don't get confused and think that, because they don't. Because the media would like to keep this in the news. I mean, it's not quite their Brett Kavanaugh, but it's next, okay? Because I'm going to tell you something. I don't think, okay? I don't think it's equal to, so please don't get upset with me the way I put this. But remember, John McCain's running against Barack Obama, all right? About 3 weeks before the election, maybe 30 days, if that much. Maybe, I don't know, is it 30 days? But anyhow, we had to put TARP together. I mean, all of a sudden, the world had collapsed. You're thinking everything's okay. You're thinking, you know, you've heard some rumblings that there might be some layoffs. You've heard some rumblings they might cut overtime back. Your boss has some concerns, but you are very, very late. You're 4 weeks away from that election. All right. It was at 2010 or 2012. Okay. 2008. God, maybe I get this right sooner or later. But you're just 4 weeks away from that election, and you find out the world collapsed. And then you find out all of a sudden everything changed in your financial world. I tell you what, there's millions that their financial world changed in 4 weeks. I'm serious, 4 weeks. Okay? And there's millions out there that watched John McCain off of George Bush. There's no way. I mean, I'm thinking there's no way this guy's going to be, you know, it's like, although it doesn't parallel, obviously, it's like the American people trusting Gerald Ford after Nixon. Okay? So were the American people going to trust John McCain after George W. Bush when the world collapsed? People's economic situation was changing within 4 weeks, that rapid. Stock market crashed. Stock market crashed, and John McCain suspended his campaign and Barack Obama so they could fly back to vote on TARP. Okay, now it's not that drastic, but let me tell you, I don't know if it will happen, but the Democrats are sitting there because they know if they could get you going to get gas before you go to the polls. And that gas, I know it's around $2.80 here in Georgia, $2.68, $2.70, okay? It's not been over $3, but it's hovering at $2.87 mark. They know if they could get you to go to that pump and that gas looks about $5.50 a gallon, oh, God, they would love every minute of that. They do not care if they collapse anything they can and make it any harder on you or subject you to any kind of pain in this country. If they can spin it around, manipulate anything to get the vote. Because I'm going to tell you something. I'm not seeing the outrage. Not taking up for Saudi Arabia. I want to be clear on that. I'm not seeing the outrage around the world because the rest of them, though, they don't want that $20 a liter for gas, and they're being a little cautious. So let me just say this before I take a break. Oh, don't think for the pain. This is really how low they can go, okay? They are upset. Their stories, go to number 5. The real number 5, not 5A. Number 5, go to 5, okay? And Trump MBS said he and the king knew nothing about it, and that was very important. But what are they all been out of shape about that you've heard? That there is Mike Pompeo with the king, and in the pictures, Pompeo is smiling. He's sitting there with these murderers, and he's smiling. Sitting there with these murderers, and he's smiling. Okay? Well, we could have this, number 1. Number 1. We can have him over there bowing down and kissing their ass, whichever you want. That's up to you. I'm going to take a break. I'll be right back after these messages. We've got a lot to do before we close up the show. I'm your host, BKP.